And then I was like, okay, I've seen that kind of cinema in Hindi, but why can't I recall watching anything of that sort in my own mother tongue?
Yeah.
Like you go to a museum, you're watching an artist's work. Now that artist has put on, let's say, they have curated 100 paintings of that artist, and you start with one, then two, then three, and then by the time it's imagine how your perception of each is changing. And if you change the sequence, your perception will change. The conventional storytelling is about closing things. You are reaching towards a closure. The climax is a kind of a closure.
The resolution. Even a documentary goes towards a resolution.
I never bothered about that because how can anything come to a close?
Now talk about that.
Reinventing.
जैसे वो कहते हैं ना पल में जियो.
हाँ बिल्कुल. एक idea था, उस idea की क्या script बन गई? You don't know. And now you have a script which you're taking, and based on that script you are shooting. What form that shooting will take? Whether one scene which is described in 10 lines in a script, whether now you will do that scene in 10 shots or 2 shots or 1 shot, that will change that will completely change the feel. It will have arrived at its own being, which will be very different from the being of what was written in the script.
Gurvinder Singh's films have been showcased in India and internationally, especially at the Cannes, Venice and Busan Film Festivals. He feels that cinema needs to move beyond the cycle of cause and effect, conflict and resolution that the mainstream cinema seems to be stuck in. I hate to watch a film in which everything is explained or understood in a desired manner, he says. The audience should become a co-creator, not just a receiver. As many audiences there are, says he, as many experiences there can be. His films absolutely and resolutely reject the values and mode of mainstream commercial cinema. His cinematography constructs an India filtered out of the gloss and rhetoric of India shining. In the past week, I have watched his films, read reviews, and listened to his words online, a wonderful deep dive. And then this conversation, how lucky did I get? I'm grateful for him and his explorations with the cinematic form. Hello, guys. Welcome to the podcast, Theatre of Joy. I'm so excited. Today, we have for you Gurvinder Singh, Punjab's very own filmmaker. But he's not only Punjab's, he's international. You have made films on books of my favorite Punjabi writers, Varyam Sandhu and Gurvinder Singh ji, who were also, the writings are so deep and so evocative of those times. And I think I have been brought up with at least these two, and of course Pajiyan Bahi and the other writings of these people.
Actually.
Many. And I'm grateful that I have lived through a time when these were available to us and we could read them. I don't know whether kids do that now. Maybe not all of them, but some do. And I'm so grateful to you that you put them in film language. I mean, language is not the right word, but you made films about them. And you went deep into that beauty, that art, and you translated it into another medium, there for everyone to watch. And thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me to the
the honor is all mine. The honor is all mine. And I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to, I do the podcast conversations primarily for myself. I get to talk to such wonderful people, and I get to delve deep into their work and their lives.
It's great that you do it for yourself, but then you share it with the world.
I share it with whoever will watch. And that's amazing. So, where should we start? my head is all scrambled up by watching the
we
films.
we can start with literature, because when you were saying that we were brought up, but I mean, for me, it's a miracle that I made these films because I was never brought up. I never grew up reading Punjabi literature. So I came to actually Punjabi literature very late when I was studying at the Film Institute in Pune.
Yeah.
And that too, because I had read Hindi literature, I had read English literature, I had read both. I read a lot of contemporary writers, a lot of Latin American literature translated into English, both poetry, fiction, essays. But but when I actually
what richness to sort of take off from.
So I was coming from reading Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Pablo Neruda and many other writers. But then it's like I was like and then when I was in the Film Institute and we are watching films from all over the world. One day you're watching an Iranian film, next day you're watching a Japanese film, third day you're watching a Polish film.
I know.
And then I was like, okay, I've seen that kind of cinema in Hindi, but why can't I recall watching anything of that sort in my own mother tongue? So actually this awareness of the mother tongue and lack of depiction of its socio-political reality in cinema. So I had to go looking for books. And sitting in Pune, of course, books was the only way I can. And luckily, the Film Institute Library had a very good.
Film Institute is the Film and Television Institute of India. You might have heard. That's FTII in Pune.
Yeah. So luckily, they had a very good collection of even regional literature translated into both English and Hindi. So of course, you won't find a Gurmukhi script book in the library, but you could find Gurdial Singh translated into Hindi or into English. So that's where I started, and then. And Anne Gurdial was one of the first novels I ever read in Punjabi.
Really?
I would say, it was maybe perhaps the first one or two novels I ever read in Punjabi. Set in Punjab by a Punjabi writer, but in translation. And till then I had not read any Punjabi. And it was like completely, it's like it was a very strange feeling reading that because that was a Punjab I had not heard about, I had not seen. And I had not read about. So none of my faculties had ever experienced that Punjab. And so you can imagine that what kind of impression reading a novel like Anne Gurdial or other novels of his later, like Modi Da Diva had already been made into a film. And but besides that there was hardly
and
nothing.
Theatre.
Yes, and yes. So yeah, so it was completely. It was like as if a new world had opened up, and then, but of course, I came back to it much later when I actually could thought of making a feature fiction. I was working in documentaries, making short films, and then I was realizing, that I need to go beyond, documentary, and then the way the imagination works in creating fictional works, it cannot work in documentary. Documentary has its own, its own challenges, satisfaction, its own, its own kind of creativity. The approach is different approach making a fiction. So I was like craving to make fiction after working in documentaries and.
But tell me about.
And then I went back to that. I said, okay, I cannot forget that novel.
So grateful. So tell me about your journey through Punjab with the folk singers and.
That was like again, calling of the mother tongue. That I grew up in Delhi. We are from a migrant Punjabi family from Pakistan, what is now Pakistan, and so I had no experience of Punjab. So whatever was only heard through what grandparents had to talk about, and their also their experience of Punjab is the pre-partition Punjab where they came from. So it's not the Punjab which we inhabit today in this part of.
My parents are also from.
Yeah. So so we have like kind of a shared history, and sorry, what was the question? What was I talking about?
When you were traveling with folk singers,
with the folk singers, yes. So I was like, so I had heard snippets of these kissas, or read a little bit read the kissas, say of but then of course when I heard few recordings I realized that these were not just literary works, that these were these also had a kind of a, so if there is a written here by here by Damodaran also, and then there's I'm forgetting.
I also forget it's just not coming.
Yeah, the most Varis.
Imagine.
Yeah, how can I forget? So Varis is here is there, of course, and there are other written heres. But what I was hearing was completely, you couldn't find that in the written text anywhere. So these were oral traditions, which were still alive, and I decided that way, and I felt like listening firsthand, documenting them, and and then there's this spirit of the ethnographer. The filmmaker is an ethnographer first. If you don't have that desire to explore the ethnicity of things, be it language, sound, music, landscape, architecture,
and the people.
All that is our material. People, faces, communities, castes, lifestyles, economies, the livelihoods, agriculture, crafts, whatever, And so it was all, one is interested in all of this. As a filmmaker, you have to be interested in all of this.
Yes.
And music,
especially if you are doing fiction,
and storytelling, and oral storytelling, oral ballads, folk tales. These are all part of our material, from which we take and feel inspired. So I wanted to do that, and luckily I could get grants to travel, spend time with these great oral balladeers, and they were mostly old, they were they're already in the late 60s, 70s, even 80s, and everybody was bemoaning the fact that nobody's picking up from us, nobody's learning from us, because these require a certain rigor. And now with the changing times, with technology, with everything, who wants to spend hours, by learning by heart, a kissa which might take 3 days to tell. So I had fascinating
experiences.
I had fascinating experiences, and hearing these performers tell these kissas through the night.
That's an experience. I mean, I feel envious of you right now.
Yeah, imagine listening to Puran Bhagat start for 3 nights. There's this very close to here. There's a village, Manakpur Sharif, and there's a singer there. His name is Pala, on whom I made my first documentary. I once went to a village with him, and 3 nights it took to narrate the kissa of Puran Bhagat. So so now it's not possible. Who will even sit for 3 nights and listen to her?
I remember traveling to Kerala and actually spending.
We're just talking of 20 years ago. So how much has changed in these?
I mean, it's totally
years.
upturned.
Yes.
Then that experience, since I've had also in Kerala, it's like something else.
Because even in the villages now, people don't want to.
I mean, they don't have the time.
Everybody's on the phone. It's not about the time. They have time to be on the phone, all the time. And everybody's spending now time on the phone.
But then how lucky that you did experience it. I mean, because
I saw the fag end of it, And I saw, you could say, and I could document whatever.
And then you could, I mean, it helped.
And then of course that became a kind of my learning about Punjab.
And that's why the films are so rich.
That's why I could make a film like Annegoda, because the community that it depicts, the society, the caste, the socio-economic realities it talks about, and the changing times. So I could actually experience all that on the ground and understand what the novel was about. I could understand the characters of the novel and relate to them, and be able to interpret and create
almost live their lives
and depict their lives, and also because I had become very kind of comfortable dealing with people in the villages and sitting in their homes, and that's why I could work with non-actors who had never faced a camera. And I had that confidence. And actually, when we started casting for the film, everybody was like, I knew I will not find these faces amongst actors. That being, which I was wanting to depict on the screen, that wouldn't have come through, if we did not. So we just, once we chose the village, we wanted to shoot the film, and we just stay put there and just walking through the village every day and looking at faces. And I said, these are the faces of my film. I cannot find these faces amongst actors,
And it was so refreshing
Yeah.
for me to see the film.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you said somewhere in one of your interviews, that you want to co-create the film with the audience. It's not that you're spoon feeding them.
Yeah,
With the, I mean, like the worst scam is that suspense wala music, with fast cutting, with otherwise manipulating emotions. And this was so amazing, since I also had read the book, but I really did enjoy the pace of the film, the way you almost looked into their homes, and and how sort of things developed. And I was grateful for that, because it's like somebody is nudging you and forcing you to feel in a certain way and not giving you any space to interpret or think, right? So, would you talk more about this, especially in relation to Bollywood through the ages? The earlier those films. This is just because I want to explore together with the audience, with the viewers, how a cinematic experience can be different, can be life-changing, it can be rich, which I've experienced thankfully in the Film Institute, watching all those wonderful films. And but
Yeah, because I mean, cinema is not one kind of cinema. I mean, there are kinds of cinemas and the kinds of approaches and the kinds of genres. There are genre films, there are non-genre films, there are very personal films, there are very high films which can be very poetic, philosophical. So it's as a medium, it gives rise to various possibilities. And
but I'm talking about the dominant forms.
yeah, the dominant form, of course, it's an industry. The dominant form is an industry, which where certain capital is invested. It needs big capital. Which is invested, and of course that capital has to give returns. So if it doesn't, then that form that model doesn't make sense to any financier or producer of cinema.
But the effect of it is, to me as a person.
Of course, that has also produced great cinema.
Yes, but one thing
both across the world.
One thing which has stayed with me is that if things are going okay, then you're expecting something bad to happen, and that's become almost like and then you sort of bring that in your life. The day things are going well, you keep expecting ki ab to kuch gadbad hogi, something is going to be wrong. Like when they show a person driving a car for a while, you're expecting an accident. If it shows, I mean, that is
these kind of dramaturgical tools, they have been kind of established.
No, they are fixed
and
now.
they have been imbibed, by writers and directors and even the audience.
Yeah.
Because they have been kind of told to see in a certain manner and experience in a certain manner and expect in a certain manner. So their expectations are kind of have already been kind of pre-drawn even before they start watching a film.
So how is your cinema different? Please put it in words.
It's not
for
just
us.
my cinema. There are many cinemas which are different.
I know, but I'm talking about yours for right now because you are here.
Yeah. So I would say that if I could say that I had a great teacher, Manikal, and he once he himself was a experimental, very avant-garde, very modernist, kind of a filmmaker, artist, filmmaker. And he once told me, he once said, that like he was talking of nature's swabhav, he said everybody's, in a class, that everybody's swabhav is different. Har kisi ka alag swabhav hai. You are different from me. and I am different from you. And how are we different? It's if we can recognize our nature, and do things according to our nature, then the question of striving for originality does not exist. I mean, there's no. I mean, whatever you do, because it is true to your nature, will have its originality. So I think this realization that and not worry how it will be perceived or received. Said the way you might see something might be in a conventional sense wrong, but it will be true because it is true to yourself.
And
so that was it,
That's what is so difficult to be in the world.
So this sense of sense of temporality, rhythm, the quality of attention. Quality of attention is very important.
Yes.
How we look at things in daily life, and in film how we interpret that our quality of attention and create a similar kind of attention in the film. This create a similar kind of tempo, rhythm, movement.
Without any external needs
how things change,
to make the plot run.
How a day unfolds, what we feel in the morning is different from what we feel in the afternoon, what we are feeling right now when, the late afternoon sun is filtering through the window. The light in this room will be different in the morning, the light in the evening is different. So we are experiencing these all the time, the changing emotions through the day, through the days, through seasons, through life, and also as we grow older. So it's not that our nature. There is something which will remain true to ourselves, but also our subhav is not something which is kind of it's not a fixed entity.
Yes. So I was reading about the
It's not that when I made Annagodan, this now 15 years ago, is not what I am today.
Yes.
That kind of a film is not possible.
And now you'll make a different film.
Now I'll make a different kind of film.
No, I was reading about the crisis of subjectivity.
Yeah.
So maybe you can put that in simple words for
this is what yes. It is that to be subjective is it's about yes, everybody's experience of the world is subjective, and if you can bring that subjectivity into what we
the
create.
outside wants you to behave.
Yeah, but the outside wants you to remain objective, and but you fight that and you say, okay, this is maybe this is this. So like Annagodan, it's a lot of people come. When the film was released, even now, a lot of people, we didn't understand this. I said, yes, it's not. It's beyond understanding. First of all, you need to experience. You need to feel. It's the first thing about a film is it's an experience.
And then whose understanding we are talking about? Is it the filmmakers? Is your subjective?
Yes. No, as you said earlier, that a film is not just something which a filmmaker has made and thrown, and it has to be just. It's a kind of a fixed being which it has to be received in only one way. There are ways everybody will receive a film which is subjective through their own subjectivity,
like any other piece of art.
So it is my subjectivity and your subjectivity as an audience, which is bringing the two together and creating a third reality, I would say, which is something else. So also personally, I never bothered about whether I understood a film or not.
And thank you for that.
We used to see great films, quote unquote greats, like we used to see films in the institute, and later also, and it never bothered me whether I understood the film or not. It was what impression is left of me, what was my experience, what I was feeling watching that film. Like you watch Tarkovsky, it's not that you need to come and decode Tarkovsky. And we would just watch the films and let the film stay with us. That's all. That's it. And not try to, have this kind of, where you want to understand it. This whole thing about, you listen to music, you go to a performer, you listen to somebody playing a musical instrument, suppose you listen to a recording of Ravi Shankar playing sitar for an hour. What is there to understand? Yeah, what is there to understand? So cinema is something which is, of course, much more complex than that, because it has the various kinds of depiction, it has sound, image, rhythm, time, movement, then what what is in the content of it. So it's but it can be received like that. It can aspire to form like music, poetry, and that's what I mean. It's a medium where I think it's still a very young medium amongst the arts, and it's just
But I hope it does is allowed to grow its own way.
it will, because there's a lot of democratization which has happened with the digital. Earlier, at least now with less expensive equipment, you can make films which technically can aspire to even big budget films, which was not possible earlier. You had to shoot on film. So there was this dichotomy between film and video, and nobody would want to make a film on a video camera. But now everybody's making a film on digital camera. So it is okay, somebody could be making a film on a camera which costs $1,000, and somebody could be making a film which costs $100,000. So that's the only difference. But at least there's a certain kind of and you edit on a computer, and then it's just that at least so therefore a lot of young people are connecting with the medium, and they're making short
so that
films.
brings me
They're making a lot.
That brings me to
I mean, very good non-fiction work is happening in India. I feel we are making better documentaries than fiction works.
Yeah. But
that, and also that's thanks to that people can be with the subject for a long time now.
Yes, that is the good fallout of creating
without
a film.
Depending on studios, without having big funding.
And doing it in time and having people over your head telling you "Khatam karo."
Yeah, but unfortunately, fiction filmmaking, though everything is now being made on digital, in terms of labor and monetary expenditure, has not changed much from the times we used to make films on actual film. So it is still kind of and it is challenging to find funding for films.
Yes.
like mine.
Yeah.
Because eventually, every producer will look at what have been the returns on the previous films.
And also, I mean, in the sense like those films got created that you shot, it was lucky. It was a piece of luck.
Sometimes you are in the right period in time of history.
Right, and you had to create them, and you had to create that language, that format.
Yes, for example, NFDC had, when I made Anegura, NFDC had just restarted producing films, and now again it's not making any films for the last few years.
Yeah.
So lucky to have that.
But that's
I mean, if you see the whole Indian New Wave, the 70s and 80s, it was all financed by the state.
Yeah.
Both center and individual states. States like Kerala, Bengal, So, but now, again we are like.
You have less space to play in.
Less, very, very less. And in fact, the budgets have not gone up. So in a way, they have stagnated for the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And if you look at inflation, it's
difficult.
It's really difficult, So
No, that's why I was interested when I read about your story about the Venice Film Festival, where the curator wanted you to change.
Yes.
And how you stood for it.
Yes.
Because I think examples and role models like that for young people are very important. Because, that's what people are doing. Ki ye chalta hai Bollywood. I mean, it is crumbling and has fallen, but it won't give up its thing ki yaar ye formula chal raha hai. वो बनी थी फिल्म तो उसकी फॉर्मूले पे बनाते हैं तो बन जाएगी. And they've ruined everything. How wonderfully they started Bollywood in the 50s. And now they're really,
I don't know.
So,
yes, but one hasn't seen anything exciting in the last 5-6 years, I think, which can
because, and there are so many people, so many artists in any art form, but especially in film, who, if everybody takes a stand, things could be different. Things could be.
No, there are films being. I mean, recently I saw Dibakar's new film, Tees. and it's not been released because it's controversial.
Yeah,
It's about
the
Kashmir.
thing is, they're not there.
I think it's one of the finest films to come out in the recent years. But, irrespective of
But
whether
they're
it is
not
a
available
Bollywood
for
film.
people to see.
Yes, they're
no,
not available.
That's the thing.
Yes. So in a way, this has been censored. It was produced by an OTT and they never put it up on their platform.
Oh my goodness.
So because of
Even
political
movie
reasons,
and all, I couldn't find any.
No, because sorry, I don't want to criticize any platform here, but of course, it's all because of finances.
Yeah.
They don't. Unfortunately, very OTTs are paying very less to filmmakers, and that's a complaint a lot of filmmakers have. And it's not viable.
चलो दिख तो जाए, दिखनी भी नहीं है, तो क्या करेंगे?
Actually, when the OTTs came, it felt like, finally we have an avenue to distribute our films. But now they are all turned mainstream. They are all going after big budget films, stars, and they want a film to be they want a film to be theatrically released first, and then only they will shoot. How many independent filmmakers like me can afford to theatrically release?
And then why do it because?
And why release the film and when only 10 people are going to turn up in the theater and watch it?
And if that 10 people, if that.
No, 10 will turn up.
Yes.
I suppose.
But yeah, so I mean, could you just maybe now, maybe in bit, maybe it's too soon for this thing because I do want to delve into, hear you talk about your cinema, how it has evolved. The first film was Chauthi Koot. Anne Kode Dada. And then whatever, Chauthi Koot and
Acha Ni Raat.
Acha Ni Raat. And I mean, like, the subjectivity, every film were different challenges. And you tried different things. Yes. It wasn't कि मैं तो ऐसे ही film बनाता हूँ and this is what I'm going to do. And with the result that in Bitter Chestnut is different.
Yeah, because its setting is different. It's in a different.
But
it's a very strange mix of documentary, fiction and non-fiction.
Yeah.
Real people.
But you did not say
themselves yet not being themselves, yet being different from trying to. They are themselves, but yet they are doing things which they perhaps are not. But very close to their lives, And so it's what it's. It was a different challenge, It gave you a different kind of a thrill,
So what did you feel when you were making Anne Kode Dada? Because
when I was making Anne Kode Dada, I was feeling that this is my first and last film.
Acha.
I thought the way I'm making it, nobody will like it. And nobody's, and it will go, and nobody.
It is such a wonderful document.
and people will, say, "Oh, ye kya banaya hai?" And I will never get funding to make another film. But I was proven wrong, thankfully. And but I made it with my complete, with my complete subjective, without bothering about what people will think. What time, I was.
Which I think you made other films also.
Yes, also.
So tell us.
But making. I mean, whatever recognition I would have done, it is that it was heartening that that people. It was heartening that that to actually to realize that and to that people are looking for this kind of subjectivity. People are looking for something which is which is not objectified.
Yeah.
And which
is not telling you what to think and how to.
Which is not spoon feeding you. Which is letting you be.
Yeah. And I think now more people than they were before.
Yeah.
Because people are tired of
because there is more
Bollywood
exposure now, People can go and anybody wants to watch and they can go online and find it, download it illegally or whatever, even if it's not on a valid platform. So people, when we were learning filmmaking or when we were, growing up, we didn't have this kind of, but it's both, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It's like watching too much and, continuously watching. Or being completely deprived of it. Ours was an extreme case, and now we have reached another end where it's too much of available. Too much is available. Too much content is available. And And I think, discipline in watching and self-curation is a very important thing.
Yeah.
I think we as artists, need to, I mean, when we, everybody grows up reading books, So, what kind of books you read and how much you read.
And
that's also curation,
and who's telling you कि बेटे ऐसे पढ़नी चाहिए, ऐसे नहीं पढ़नी चाहिए?
Yeah, so it's self-curation actually.
Self-curation is the best.
Yes, and so even in watching films now, when everything is available, you have to self-curate, I practiced that self-curation even in the Film Institute, Every evening, 6 o'clock, there was a screening in the theatre, in the Film Institute theatre.
Yeah.
But it's not that I had to, it didn't mean that every evening, 6 o'clock, I had to watch a film. No. I said, okay, I mean, I saw one Bergman, I said two Bergman, I said, no, I don't want to watch the third Bergman now, this film, I don't want to, deal with this.
Yeah. And that's why when we were talking a little earlier, we were talking that it's so important to be you and to explore what it means to be you. How many people you will upset by being you? Whether people will be there for you because you're being you and they will say, this person is too much. The same for filmmaking, right? So self-curation is a very good idea, I think. And also, I want you to, for our viewers who are probably not, that big film buffs or who haven't had the time frame in which you have picked up, you have evolved and developed your filmmaking. Would you tell them that what is your filmmaking style? Or, I don't know, any words I use will be wrong, but what?
It's very difficult to actually talk about a style,
No, but as against, maybe if you can compare. Just because I know that people will be wanting to, understand more and know that what is actually available in terms of self-curation also. And in terms of creating, because everyone is a creator now. Even a housewife is sitting there creating reels.
Yeah.
So what goes into it, and what choices can a person make?
Let's see. First of all, it's very individualistic. It's very, very individualistic. It's very difficult.
So that's why I'm saying your own process, your muse. Can you talk about that?
It's very difficult to give anybody a kind of a recipe for something.
No. You're not giving a recipe. You're just talking about your own muse.
I think it's the journey from the idea to the to the film on the screen. That for me is a very exciting process. Of
course,
a film is born. From the germ of the idea. Let's say even if it's a short story which you have read. That short story, if you give to 100 filmmakers, they'll make 100 different films out of it. Yeah. That is the beauty of the of interpretation.
Yeah, the only difference is
and then it's how from the idea to the script and how to arrive at an essence of that idea which only cinema can create. So it has to go beyond the literary. It has to go beyond the beyond sociology. It is something. It eventually to arrive at something which is only possible to create in film.
Yes.
And not so that it doesn't seem like it's theatrical.
As you only said in one interview.
It's beyond the literary, it's beyond the theatrical, it's beyond the painter.
And you have so many tools.
It's beyond the music, it's beyond the poetic.
Yeah.
It has its own, its ontology, It has its own essence, which is not possible to express in any other medium. It is that the challenge and the beauty of perceiving and being able to express it in that manner, where it's only possible in cinema and using and cinema is a temporal medium. That's what I say everywhere, in every class, in every lecture.
What does that mean?
Yeah, because temporal means it's something which is unfolding in time. Like music unfolds in time, even theater unfolds in time. But theater, in a way, because it's restricted space and it's in a space.
Yeah, the means are limited. Film
theater,
has anything.
Yeah, in theater you're evoking things, which are not present. But in film, those are present physically. They are there. House is a house, a table is a table, a chair is a chair, You don't have to imagine that. So it's given, So the image is already given. The information is already there. In the moment you place the camera, if I take a shot of this, your room, it's there, And I don't have to describe anything. So it's beyond the descriptive. To work with all these ideas that you're starting with a pre-event and creating an event out of that pre-event. So the event is what? When I come here, it's a pre-event already. You live here. You have this house which has history, the people you live with, the people you lived with, all the objects in the house, all your belongings. That is the pre-event I entered. And now I have to create a life out of this pre-event, using this pre-event as a taking off point from the pre-event, but not making the pre-event redundant, because it has its own life already. I'm already entering a pre-existing life and creating a new, perhaps seeing it in a new perspective, by staging, by dramaturgy, by using the means available to me as a filmmaker, which is image, sound. Movement, light, faces, people, action, dialogues, text, everything. And so that's why casting is not just casting people. Casting is also casting spaces.
Spaces, of course.
Yes. A lot of people don't. They think kahin pe bhi kar lo, kya fark padta hai? It's no. We spend a lot of time casting the right space. As important as it is to cast the right actor or whosoever is playing the character. So all this whole thing, this journey from the idea to this, and then and then it takes on a new, like Mani used to say, the shooting should have nothing to do with the script, and then the editing should have nothing to do with the short material.
That's wonderful.
So at every step you are actually reinventing.
जैसे वो कहते हैं ना पल में जियो.
हाँ बिल्कुल. एक आइडिया था, उस आइडिया की क्या स्क्रिप्ट बन गई, you don't know. And now you have a script which you're taking, and on that script you are shooting. What form that shooting will take, whether one scene which is described in 10 lines in a script, whether now you will do that scene in 10 shots or 2 shots or 1 shot, that will change that will completely change the feel. It will have arrived at its own being, which will be very different from the being of what was written in the script. So at every stage you are creating a new being. Which is and the beauty of that, to see it transform from this one stage to the next stage, is and then in how those beings come together. Every shot, if I can call every shot as a kind of it's as a being in itself.
That's a nice
because it's like it's like how the hand,
it's a being with the life and
every shot is that, and when two beings come together, the spark which happens, the connection which happens, and how the presence of one shot after the other and the third and the fourth, how it is affecting all these things, and how your perception of, if there's one scene which has 10 shots, how from the first shot to the last shot, how your perception of the first is impacting you when you're watching, when you're actually,
but it's not only,
and that's the journey and so that's the kind of work. It's like
let me stop you.
No, I want to say just one thing. It's like you go to a museum, you're watching an artist's work. Now that artist has put on, let's say they have curated 100 paintings of that artist, and you start with 1, then 2, then 3, and then by the time it's how you imagine how your perception of each is changing. And if you change the sequence, your perception will change. It is that. It's all about the sequencing.
But what I really enjoyed was that watching all the juxtaposition, finally, which comes as a film, was multi-layered, right? It wasn't only about the story, the characters.
No,
It
no,
was.
no.
It was.
It has
It
to
was an
keep opening
experience.
up into new things, into
New
new
things
realms.
and new things.
It is not about things coming together.
Yeah.
Things are coming together also, but at the same time, the things are spreading also.
It's not merely storytelling.
No, because
It's-
they are spreading.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so that's another thing, that the conventional storytelling is about closing things.
Yeah.
You are reaching towards the closure. The climax is a kind of a closure.
Yeah, the resolution.
The resolution.
Even a documentary goes towards
I
the
never
resolution.
bothered about that because
Yes.
how can anything come to a close?
Now talk about that.
Everything is continuous,
because that is the amazingness of your films.
Yeah, because I don't bother about the closure.
Yeah. You don't bother about you don't bother about what is going to come next.
Things are moving in a particular direction, but they're not moving towards closure. They're actually opening up new things. It's like it's like you're entering a house and throwing all the drawers open, all the cupboards open, and exploring things,
Yeah.
But yet making sense of that exploration.
Yeah, and anyone who's watching you is also not forcefully invited in. When you're opening all the doors, anyone who's watching you is also part of that. Not part of it, but left on their own to interpret. That is the thing. So you actually really, really respect the viewer, the person who is watching.
And also what perhaps not might have made sense at a particular time in the viewing of a film might make sense 20 minutes later.
Yes.
In the film.
Yes.
So the answers
and
are not
does
immediate.
Make sense.
Yes. And you
can leave the person alone.
So you have to be patient and to wait for it to give you clues which will answer your doubts or the questions the film is making arise in your mind,
Yeah. And also, I mean, a huge problem in today's world is control. And how one controls the mise-en-scene, for example, or how one controls the film unit, the editor. I don't think you exercise.
No, I don't. I
control.
don't direct my actors too much.
Yeah.
I don't control anything too much.
Yeah.
I let things be.
And you let the film go the way it wants to go.
Like my actress in Achanira, she asked me, that how am I supposed to? I said, Molly, interpret it the way you want to. You have to direct yourself as an actor. I am directing the image.
Yeah.
But I will observe what you are doing. And if that what you are doing is somewhere disturbing, is not evoking the right thing in that image in which I have designed,
or distorting the pace,
it, or taking
or
it,
distorting the whatever,
or it
color.
will not overwork in the overall scheme of things. I will let you know. But I want to see what you bring to it, your interpretation of So you throw the actor into that kind of into that atmosphere of the image you are creating, and then see how that artist reacts in that.
So you guys understand that with a linear kind of a format, where the story binds you, imprisons you, the plot imprisons you, the resolution imprisons you. You have to have a happy ending, for example, or whatever, is used. That is so limiting, and that the director, scriptwriter, actor who wants to control that is going to create, anything that distortion of anything you try to control.
Yeah. So the continuous after the film, like Annegudadan, it ends with the brother and sister meeting in the village. He's spent the whole day. Whatever you have seen, whatever has happened with Melu the whole day, with the rickshaw strike and everything,
it's so
with the
sad
drinking,
also.
And the night, the sister restless, walking out in the night with a torch, and they both meet in the lane, and she says, "Melu bhai," and she's surprised, and he says, "Tu aithe ki kar rahi hai raat mein, pagal ho gayi hai?" And they both walk home, and tomorrow is another day.
Tomorrow is another day, and anyway you want to interpret it.
Yeah,
whatever you
totally interpreted. Yeah.
So if for example in Bitter Chestnut, if the character is leaving home, there's not much try to control from the filmmaker and the director. There is whichever it needs to move, but you can come up with your own maybe connect with your own ideas, your own experiences, and they're also alive there it's not as if they're बाद में सोचने की बात चलो अलग से सोचो, but it's
also the idea of the significant and the non-significant or the insignificant. What is perceived as non-significant? You know, this whole duality between the significant, whatever you depict in a film has to be significant. No.
Camera उसकी तरफ देख रहा है.
I mean, how the non-significant itself is like, you know, we wake up every day and we don't wake up to some kind of, you know, great drama happening in our lives. You know, if I just say that, you know, that how the ordinariness of life, you know, how the ordinariness of doing something, of eating, of walking, of meeting someone in the street. These are everything is significant in our lives. You know, so to this whole to stop to get out of this duality that you know what we have to depict has to be something very
extraordinary.
You know, extraordinary.
And a lot of philosophers and people are saying that ordinary is good. To be ordinary is good.
Yes, I mean they've said that before also. So it's not that, but
now it's a
the
bit
kind of
more
cinema,
out there.
you know, I mean one grows up watching, you know, or mostly one is exposed to is all about, you know, some murder happened, some crime, some thriller, some investigation happening, you know, all that. You know.
So the good part is created only so that the bad part can happen.
Yeah.
I mean that is height of controlling, you know. And then you end up controlling people who are watching films and society.
I mean, it's like as if other than crime, there is nothing else in our society. Although you see crime
or saas bahu or dukha or, you know.
So, yeah, it is challenging. Yeah, it's, but they say people only want to watch what they don't experience in their own lives.
No. These are also made up stuff.
Yeah, perhaps.
I mean, like, just sitting through Bitter Chestnut, which is called Kannauр, was like a visual experience.
There's no plot in the film. It's a film. Everybody I tell, you know, that.
And the plot is what you make it or not, or when you remember. I remember when I was in Beed, maybe, you know. I mean,
a boy gets out of his village home, he takes the bus, comes to the town where he's working in a restaurant. That's his daily life.
Yeah.
And what is wrong?
But still, I mean, they're not made significant, but the community is so nice. You know, the kindness, I mean, it's not overt kindness, but those other choices.
Yeah, it's a film about going and comings and goings, you know, and that every director
nothing artificial is created.
People coming from outside, the locals going outside, and it's about desires, counter desires, you know, and what we perceive as beauty is the ordinary for the other.
Yeah.
So it's all about these viewpoints, you know, these perspectives, juxtapositions, contrasts, and that's what life is.
And that's what I'm grateful for someone who is just spending time doing this. Spending the funding that he has received, doing this and opening out, reminding people that there is a different world than maybe the media nowadays or where for a long time have been showing you. And it's a respite actually. You know? Like reading a book is a respite, depending on which book you're reading, because that's also a cold medium in the sense that you have to give visual to, you know. And here in these films also, you have a lot to do. You co-create for yourself with the filmmaker.
I mean, but first of all, I want the audience to just watch it for what it is, to experience the life. That's it, you know.
And you don't, even if you go on a tourism kind of a holiday and all that.
You will not have this experience.
Yeah.
You will not have this experience. You can go paragliding in Beed, but you will not have the experience through the eyes of, you know, of the protagonist, Kishan.
You know, think control happens on many levels. Like Anne Kodedadan. I've been a leftist. I've been a member of the Communist Party. And everyone has an agenda. The same story, when you are reading also, you read through your agenda, where you are coming from, or whatever. And who tells you, or makes significant.
Yeah, you are applying a filter already.
Already you are applying a filter. But when you watch the film, you as a viewer have a choice.
But a lot of people are watching it with the filter also.
With the filter also, that's what I'm saying. But
And,
there
and
is,
they are the ones who are resistant.
and that is not the filmmaker's fault.
Yeah.
It's
and
not
then,
the,
and yes, they are, I've met people who are like resistant, that because they're watching it with a filter.
yeah, but that's not your fault.
Yeah.
You're not.
I'm not saying it's a fault or
No,
anything.
no, it is a
but
fault.
It's a fact.
Because a crass Bollywood film, it is their fault if they put the suspense music kind of, fast editing kind of stuff. So to hai. But it's not. It's not what you have.
Yeah, I'm also talking of ideological filters. That
Of course.
that an ideology has to, if a certain kind of ideology is being depicted
Yeah.
or being talked about, it has to be done in just in a particular manner only. And
Or it has to be underlined.
or has to be underlined, exactly.
Yeah.
Underlined
Yeah.
in bold.
Yeah, and loud.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and people have to verbalize those ideas.
Yeah.
Without verbalizing, things don't work for a certain audience.
Yeah. And that's why, I would like to suggest that people see Gurvinder's films wherever you can. They are in film festivals, even Chandigarh, we saw this film in Cinevista because, and it was sheer luck that they got created with the budget and that some of them have been created, and it will be luck, and I'm asking for that from the universe, that Gurvinder is able to make more films like this because it gives you I won't say alternative. Every word is politicized nowadays. But it gives you a choice of looking at something. It even gives you a breathing space out of, whatever is available for us now. Many people have stopped watching films, Bollywood films. OTT pe bhi, but this is a breath of fresh air. Let me tell you that. And I'm so grateful that I was able to deep dive into, how the films were made and what you have spoken in your interviews and all. And I'm so grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure. It was
Thank you
lovely
so
talking
much.
to you.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. I'm so honored.
Honor is mine
And
to,
after your next film, we must talk again.
Yes. after it's out, after you've seen it, and
Yes.
hopefully soon.
Yes, hopefully soon, and that hopefully you do get to make many, many more films.
Well,
or at least
actually that's
as
not
many.
important for me.
It is for it. It is.
It's a. I mean, nobody talks of the kind of demands the medium has on your psychological, mental being.
That's okay. An artist has to create art, even if it's painful.
On your physical being itself,
I know,
it's
but
a very
doesn't matter.
exhausting, very tiring.
No, I was very, very
demanding.
interested to see Bitter Chestnut. I couldn't find it, and then when you send it to me, I wanted to see where you're gone, and I'm waiting for the next film to see your journey, where take it. Because one thing I know, that you will not compromise. And
yes, that is true.
That is true.
If anybody tries to put any fetters on the way I want to make a film, I will not make it.
Yeah.
I'd rather choose not to make it and walk out of it.
yeah, and
So
that is
luckily, I'm really glad that I've been able to make all my films very independently, the way I wanted to make them, without any interference from anybody.
Yes.
And I think when a producer comes to me now, they know, that this filmmaker will only make a film if we just let him be.
I know.
So that kind of, perhaps.
And that's your legacy. That's your strength.
So that perhaps not lends to too many films, but few. But that's fine.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Perfectly fine.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.